Good day and welcome to another fantastic edition of your favorite sport program on TV, Twisted Sport. We've been receiving so many comments and appreciation as regards to trending stories we brought in the past edition of the program. And today will be different because we would like to bring out some stories behind the NFL. Yes, not the Nigerian Football League, you know. There's a National Football League, that's the league everybody known as American football. So we'll be talking to an American football expert, someone that I tell you his mind is in America every day about the NFL. So good morning, Mr. Paul. Good morning, Mr. Paul. Yes, a lot of people we want to know about the National Football League, and I'm going to use Nigerian proper word, how we call it, the American football. It seems to be in all sports across the globe. The sport seems to be a sport that we cannot just get the best of it from an African perspective and also from a Nigerian perspective. Tell us about this sport that is life to Americans.
The National Football League is America's favorite pastime. You can see the euphoria at the beginning of every season throughout the duration of the season, ranging to the Super Bowl, to the day of the Super Bowl, which is even considered one of the greatest sporting occasions in the whole world. You know, and yes, it has been predominantly played in the United States. But some neighboring countries have a few amateur leagues, like the Canadian Football League and maybe the AFL also is another category that is being played in the United States. But just like you said, it's only popular in the United States with regards to the functionality of the game. But I know that it's embraced a lot of fans all over the world. And one good thing that the NFL has done is to actually take some preseason games out of the United States. You probably have heard about some games being played in London and in some of the Asian countries, just to actually embrace, just to actually as a way of bringing the game home to those that are not in the United States. You know, the good thing for some of us that have actually lived United States and have a first-hand experience of this game is that we follow through, and with the advent of technology, it makes it easy for us to keep up with the league. I mean, on the internet, you can actually create a fantasy football league between you and some friends all over the world, and actually follow the game from week to week. So NFL is one of the most robust sports in the world in terms of commercial lucrativity, in terms of getting people involved, and in terms of uniting people across cadres. You know, personally, I got sold out to the game easily on my arrival to the United States. I was very fortunate to put up with with some folks that are also football fanatics. And even on my return to Nigeria after a couple of decades, I mean, United States, we still keep in touch. We still keep in touch, and we still analyze the game. We still stay on the phone when crucial games are going on. And NFL have a way of captivating one's soul to sports. So, and the energy it brings, the fun it brings, and it is also a very, very technical game, not just a bunch of men falling on top of each other and running against some very funny objects. You know, so we can take it from here. Thanks.
Yes, beyond what you've said so far, this game seems to be stands as a policy decision making in American politics. We know of the past that decisions by the management or the board of NFL has affected American politics in the past. What makes them unique? It's the management. Is it the uniqueness of the game? There seems to be like a decision maker and policy maker a sport like that, beyond what they do on the field, what gives them out as a decision maker in American sport and American politics?
This is a no-brainer. I'll tell you why. I think the better question to ask is, why is it that every NFL world champion at the end of each season is invited to the warehouse for a tour and for maybe a dinner with the president and his family? That tells a lot. You know, NFL is a very robust commercial entity. You know, and no doubt, you know, anything that impacts the economy of a nation would have uh, direct or indirect effect on the politics of that nation. And also remember that in the United States, that the players, the NFL players have a very strong association that deals with issues that borders on racism and evolution of the game to this present time, and that addresses players' welfare and all sorts. You know, so with this, they are very quick to speak on issues that borders the environment where they exist. They also have robust community services that are being done individually and collectively as teams. So when you have an entity like that affecting a particular society where they stay, I mean, you would not doubt why they have a strong voice in the policy, I mean, the politics of the United States. Again, some of the owners of these teams are very popular Americans. You know, are very popular, wealthy Americans that have voices in their communities, and you will see that it will not be strange for the United States government to actually embrace and also hear them out on issues that concerns the country. Um, on Sundays when these games are played, you will find a lot of people sit at home, you know, all through and watch football, American football, from maybe 11 a.m. To midnight or the following day. On Monday evening, the same thing. Back at work, we're busy analyzing these games, and I mean, with such interest that you wonder if there is any other thing, if there is any other thing to it. American football is a unifying factor in the United States. You know, this is where you find blacks and the whites and the Latinos and all races that exist in the United States come together as one and as a team when they are competing against each other. So the culture is strong, the football culture is strong, and it's so embedded into the society that born into the United States, you grow with it. You know, they have the minor league, they have the kiddies league, they have the elementary school league, the middle school league, the high school league, and also the NCAA games, which is the university games. Digressing a little bit, the poster behind me, you can see a bulldog holding a ball. You know, that is the mascot for the Georgia Bulldogs, the University in Georgia. Right on the screen, the guy pounding away on the drum was Christian Okoye. I don't know if you can roll back a little bit. Christian Okoye actually made Nigerians popular in Kansas City. He is one of the most prolific players that played for Kansas City Chiefs as a running back in his days. So um, he also brought Nigeria to the limelight in Kansas City. You know, so that's him right there. He was a hammer thrower in Nigeria before he left for university. I think he schooled in California, and he was drafted by Kansas City. Christian Okoye was between the Nigerian nightmare. You know, he's a running back that you don't want to confront on the field. And he retired a few players on collisions. Anyway, so that's another story for that story for another day. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Beyond this, the unifying factors and what it is in American politics and American way of life, to Africans and to a lot of people, this seems to be like it stands on its own to the rest of the world. I don't think that members of any affiliating body like the Olympics, like the Commonwealth Games, and global global sport boards and meeting. Why do they choose, if I can use that word, to stand on their own and not part of the Olympics or any other part of the global body of sports?
That is an open-ended question. But from experience, you can look at it from different perspectives. You know, you want to look at the economic impact of American football to the United States. You also want to look at the social impact of the game to the United States based on the rules being set by the commission. You see, in the United States, you just don't get up to become a professional footballer. You know, you have to go through the rudiments of playing for elementary school, standing out as playing for your elementary school. Then your secondary school will scout for those for those that are good enough to represent them with different offers of scholarship, different offers of incentives. At that point in time, not on commercial basis, just for them to come and play for the high schools, from which the universities, from which if you do very well, the universities actually will come and scout you to play from them. Then from the university, you have the privilege of playing a minimum of 2 years and choose the commercial path. You see, this structure probably cannot be replicated all over the world. This is my own thinking. And the discipline that goes with it probably would not be able to contain, will not be able to be contained all over the world simultaneously. You know, like in our system here in Nigeria, take the soccer for example. You don't have to, the Nigerian Football League teams don't have to pick their players from the university. You know, very few players from the Nuga games graduate to the Nigerian Football League. But in the United States, it is a prerequisite that you go through a college before you play for the NFL. You know, so I think it's an issue of control and also keeping it the way it's been from the beginning, rather than trying to grapple on a scope that you probably will not be able to regulate. You know.
Yes, well said. We go on this quick break, and when we come back, we still have you with us, and we'll be asking more questions as regards to American football and the rest of the world. And perhaps we'll also be asking you more about the difference or who has gotten the higher stake, American football, NFL, or NBA. Yes, still on with 360 Sport. We'll go on this quick break. When we come back, there's still so much to talk about the NFL that we call American football.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
And welcome back. So many reactions since we have Paul in the house with us, an American football expert, and I'm sure Uptime will permit us to read some of your comments on all our social media platforms. And if you want to be part of these platforms, it's good so that whatever might be your questions or interactive way of communicating back to us. We still have Mr. Paul in the house. I want to call him Mr. Paul. It's good to still have you in the house.
Thank you very much.
Yes, a question I've been asked by one of our viewers all the way from Tokyo He's asking this question, and that seems a reasonable question when we say so much about NFL. Now, NFL and NBA, from an American perspective, and what's the real? What's much bigger? Who has a better influence on America, the NFL or the NBA?
Well, that's relative, but from experience, I would say NFL. NFL has a bigger impact. The NBA plays. They have a longer season and they have more games to play. But NFL is so structured that they play for only a few months, and that few months, trust me, is captivating to all American families. And the Super Bowl, which is the NFL final games, right? The NBA finals, which run about the best of seven, has has nothing on the single Super Bowl and a single Super Bowl day. One thing you can bet on is the commercial impact, the marketing and all that stuff, which is strong on both games. But it's been recorded that um, 2 seconds or 3 seconds advert on a Super Bowl day raised in several millions of dollars, and you see top blue chip companies and corporate America, other companies across the world trying to get a slot on the Super Bowl day. That tells you how large that game is. For me, I think the NFL has a bigger impact on the sport than NBA. Though basketball is played all across the United States and you can connect as much as football, but football still brings a different attitude, a different feeling, a different euphoria. That's why during the off-season, we look forward to the spring camp opening for the game, to look forward to the drafting, for the NFL drafting day, to see who's coming to your hometown, who's coming to your team. And the football culture is so strong. I think it has more impact than NBA. I don't know. That can be arguable.
Okay, that's agreeable. Let's look at it this way. Let's come back home to Africans. How much do you know that Africans have done to enable this sport to be a part of our curriculum? I know about rugby, and a lot of people say rugby is just an American version of American football is just a rugby version of that sport. But beyond then, how much do you know, and how do you think Africans can bring this sport home?
That's very interesting. Normally, it's very, very, very difficult to record. It was difficult to record a Nigerian name on the field, when the NFL game came. But I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 80s had a kicker in the name of Stone Igwe. He was one of the first Nigerians, if not the first, to break into NFL. And I think he had the soccer experience, which helped him to kick the American football very well with such precision that he became a household name in NFL. I mean, in the history of NFL, Stone, I think, is one of the best kickers we have since today. Then comes Christian Okoye, and in the mid 90s, we had people like, for the Tampa Bay, Batavianila, I think, for Chicago Bears, if I can remember. Then Denise also for Chicago Bears, and Moby for the Texans. Then one Nigerian that won Super Bowl with the New York Giants, Umenyora. I think he's retired with the Atlanta Falcons, but he played for the New York Giants. We also had people like Ifeanyi Asomugha, a dominant cornerback for the Oakland Raiders then, and all that. You see, the question should be, why are our Nigerians in diaspora that play these games, even those that bear the Nigerian surnames that probably was born there, why have they not thought it proper to come and start a football academy in Nigeria? That would be a good thing. Because we have the strength and the physique to play good positions in this league, and if properly entrenched in society, you see ourselves exporting the footballers into the NFL. But unfortunately, maybe I would say maybe logistics, maybe regulations, maybe more. I don't know. But a couple of years ago, I know that a few of them came back home for some for a charity program. but they did not actually showcase this game in Nigeria. So we have more Nigerian players in the league right now. There's barely any team that you go through the roster in NFL that you don't find one or two Nigerians. My favorite team, Kansas City Chiefs, have two Nigerians, two predominant players here in their roster. So maybe we need to start creating some form of awareness, with the Nigerian players in NFL. Maybe we need to start reaching out to them to clamor for an academy somewhere that will bring homegrown players that could actually keep this as a profession. The equipment are not. I mean, they're not too exotic that we cannot have them here in Nigeria. It entails a football field, a goal post built differently from the soccer post. I mean, the football cleats, similar to the football boots, and your shoulder pads and your protective gas helmets and all that stuff. So, I think it's the thinking. I mean, for the players that have the opportunity to actually bring this game back home. And if it is done, trust me, we are very good in embracing good stuff. And I will say that we will do well. I mean, embracing the game, but that has to be done properly and in a more functional form.
Yes. Lastly, you giving an answer to a question that's supposed to be my last question, but nevertheless, I'll now put the question in proper perspective and ask, where will we put American football in the light of whether it's an expensive sport or not, in terms of equipment and all that? Where are we going to put them? How cheap is it? How can a Nigerian afford that? Do you think it's an expensive sport in terms of equipment?
Well, just like every other sport, they have different category of equipment you can actually start with. Field is natural; it doesn't have to be artificial turf, and we have fields all over. The cleats can be bought like football boots, and they have different standard that one can use, and the jerseys are quite affordable. But again, it entails importation, and you know that anything you try to import into Nigeria would against the dollars actually would be relatively expensive. But we have enough players in the Nigerian league that can donate these materials, that can contribute these materials to schools, that can even in very good use condition, and that can provide this equipment for different categories of school, mainly primary, the secondary, and our university here. So if we actually start a reach out to these footballers, they probably will be conscientized and see the need to export this game to their home country. So cost wouldn't be a problem in that sense, because they do more in the communities where they exist in Nigeria. In the US. Most of them, some of them have academies, some of them have children sectors of this game that is sponsored, unilaterally, and they are very well paid, so they can afford to give at least at the elementary stage, afford to give away free materials. And then you see that there will be companies also that will be willing to donate. It's just to create the proper channel of communication and awareness, and that will probably get us started at that level.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for being part of today's program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. Hope next time we'll have more of your time with us.
Yes, the Super Bowl is coming up on February 7th. I encourage everybody to watch. Hopefully, if I'm in Lagos, I will organize a Super Bowl party, and thanks to ESPN on DSTV and all the channels that air the program, so that at least we can have an idea of how exciting the game is, the finals. And guess what? My home team is playing the Super Bowl finals against the Patriots. My home team in Kansas City, Missouri. I went to school in Kansas City, Missouri, and that is where I understand and learned American football. So I call them my home team. So I wish them all the best, and hopefully we win the Super Bowl and retain the trophy for the second consecutive time.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, sir.
The pleasure.
Yeah. Yes, that's Mr. Paul, I would like to call him Mr. Paul, an American football expert who was giving us all we need to know about the NFL and how it has been a unifying factor in America. This is all we could take on today's program on 360 Sport. It's my pleasure for our viewers and for the young man who sent his message all the way from Tokyo. I'm sure Mr. Paul was able to give a very good answer to his question. And if you want to continue this discussion, you can search, like I said earlier, on all our social media platforms to drop your message, and probably in the next edition of 360 Sport, we'll read it out for our esteemed viewers across the globe. My name still remains Mudashir Shitu. Same time next week, we'll be giving you all what is trending in the world of sport. Like I do say at the end of every program, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.